Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. I am recovering from having the flu. I got flu symptoms starting last Sunday's show. Thought it was allergies, and it was not. This is the first year, and I don't know how long that I haven't gotten a flu shot. So I would just like to warn everyone out there that you should totally get a flu shot. Even if the strain that they're saying that's going around now is not the same strain that they're offering for the flu shot. Get it because it helps. And this is the first time in my life that I've had the flu, and it's awful. And yeah, never want it again. Still recovering from it. Not contagious anymore, but still recovering from having the flu. I'd like to give a shout out to Jason's Deli and their delicious soups for getting me through this week, because I was pretty much comatose and it was the only thing I wanted to eat when I did have an appetite was their soups. Joining tonight as guest co-host is Zach McMath. He is no stranger to the show. He runs Acadiana Food. What is the official hub, Commissary Kitchen, everything, umbrella-ness?
Great question.
Yeah.
So the Acadiana Food Hub is our nonprofit whose mission is to support local farmers, our access to them, and really a cultural community for Lafayette. We have a culture of food within our community, and we just really want to create a space for that to be perpetuated. And so within that space, we have a couple kitchens. That's the Acadiana Commissary Kitchen for food trucks, caterers, and virtual restaurants, and then the Acadiana Incubator Kitchen, which is for small batch manufacturing. People that want to take their wholesale product to the next level, get on some store shelves, kind of grow their brand. Just a couple commercial kitchens for them to rent by the hour, and then the attached warehousing space, cold refrigeration, services them and farmers to really aggregate from local farmers and distribute to places like our school systems and grocery stores and our restaurants, and even in our homes. So Acadiana Food Hub Market will do some of that off of Waiter.
It's kind of a one-stop shop if you're wanting to set up anything food-related.
Yeah, it's a resource for food entrepreneurs, for farmers, for chefs. A place for them to kind of work out those dreams that they've always had and work them out responsibly in a place that can sort of incubate businesses like that.
How are you faring through flu season?
We're doing okay. Me and my girlfriend, I think we avoided the flu, but we both were not.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. It is so bad.
I mean, the weather going up and down like this, it's
not helping matters. Away, right? I also want to give a shout out to Tribe Collective, and they sell elderberry tonic when you can get it in stock. And right now, they're having problems keeping it in stock, but it's highly concentrated in antioxidants, and it helps fight the flu and colds.
Fights influenza A and B.
Yeah, and they've been doing a lot of studies on it, because you can even find it in pharmacies now. But I'm going to tell you that the ones in pharmacies are gross. They're not. Yeah,
it's got to be really fresh, non-pasteurized. As close to that source as you can possibly get it, right?
Yeah, and the ones that they sell at Tribe is really good. It was the only kind that I've ever had, and I remember before I was starting to get sick at one point, and I had it, and it kind of helped me get through it. So now whenever I get sick, I try to go get my hands on it.
It has to be brought in from Baton Rouge. They have a growing brigade.
Yeah.
And she's probably having trouble keeping up. Baton Rouge and New Orleans are having the same influenza outbreaks as we are.
It is great stuff. And then they also have, Magnolia Moon Collective is over there with Tribe Collective now too. Their teas are wonderful. Yeah. Also, again, when you're sick, 3 of the teas have the elderberry tonic in it. So get that with a little honey, and it'll kind of help things along too. I got a beautiful blue colored one yesterday. I think it was called Blooming Flower, I think was the name of the tea, and it was this beautiful blue color.
Well blended.
So it was really nice. Okay, so after last Sunday's show, Sean and I went to La Papa Loca, which is the taco truck. Used to be on Cameron and is now right across, almost kind of across the street from the radio station. I believe the business that they're in the parking lot of is called Mama Shane's. We went in the rain and they were packed. I mean, there was people already, there's a lot of trucks already over there, like people waiting to get the food, and got my gorditas.
I hadn't heard of them.
Yes, they're great. I want to say that it's probably my favorite taco truck in town. Like El Taquieri Ranchito is also really good.
They're very good. That's where I get a lot of meat sometimes. Yeah.
And I will say, like, I've only had tacos there, and I haven't had the tacos at La Papa Loca, but the gorditas that I've gotten were really good. Sean got tacos. He said they were great. They had something on the menu that I don't know how to describe other than fried chicken nachos. Okay. So it's fried chicken with plantains, like fried plantains, and then it has like this crazy sauces all over it. Ooh. Yeah. So ordering was a little difficult. The last time I went there, I was with somebody who could speak Spanish, so it was a little easier. But I was able to do it. I was not able to order a beverage, but I did get my gorditas, and they were delicious.
Okay. Do your research. Okay.
So, but they're open until like 10 o'clock at night. Like
they're where? It's Mama.
Okay. So there's you probably passed it. It's like, I think it's called Mama Shane's. It's like a little plate lunch place. They're in a little cart on the side. Like if you go in the little drive, it's right there. And there are probably a line of people right now there because it was like that even in the pouring rain Sunday after the show. So it was really you guys need to go check them out. Cool. Also, Wasabi just opened. Mm-hmm. Sean, who was guest co-host last week, he's eaten there 3 times, and they've only been open 2 weeks, to the point now that he's like, okay, I can't eat any more sushi, like mercury poisoning.
Right.
Maybe.
It's not advisable.
Right. Might be a main concern. But I went with him Friday night. They were packed, and I liked it. Okay, considering that if I go and order 3 rolls, it's around $30.
Sure, yeah.
This one was like $22 for the buffet, and then you order your drink. Cool. Yeah, and it's all you can eat. So like the appetizers, hibachi, you can get noodles, everything, sashimi, hand rolls, like everything you can get like that is offered on the buffet, and it's really nice. We went with like a group of 4. The only thing, and this has been a complaint from a few people, and hopefully this is something that they're going to work on because like they've only been open 2 weeks, is that when the servers are bringing your rolls to you, they don't know what rolls there are.
And neither do you, obviously.
Right. And then so 2 people happen to have food allergies, like that have specifically mentioned that to me of where, it would be a problem. Because for us, it was just like, whatever, we'll eat it. Like, it's fine. But, they specifically couldn't have certain ingredients, and then the servers couldn't really tell them what rolls. So there's a problem there. So hopefully that's going to improve with time.
If that would solve their food allergy. Some people shouldn't go eat at places where they're just that allergic.
Right.
But if it could be solved by like that transparency, that's great.
I feel like Sean got half a raw salmon when we went to, like, because he got the sashimi and he got it. And I mean, so I like escalar like a lot. Like that's like my favorite thing, and they have it there. And I wouldn't. For me, the quality of it was a little too low for me to eat it like raw, but like the rolls were really good. I was able to get all the appetizers, and then like I said, even if you're not into sushi, they have hibachi, they have fried rice, like noodles, anything else that you can typically get on a sushi menu is available for buffet. So it's pretty cool. I want them to do well. Go check them out.
Yeah, I always like to see those new businesses start. And
be
successful.
Okay, and I'm obsessed with Zorba's Greek food. After yesterday, I was supposed to go to Baton Rouge to go to the street food festival that they were having there.
I know.
Couldn't make it out because of the flu. Awesome. Went to Zorba's, and they have something called Greek fries. Mm-hmm. So what they do, it's like a breaded fry, and then they coat it in Greek dressing. So it's like that wonderful herby, garlic, olive oil dressing with feta on it. And then, so they mix that all up. They put it on a platter. And then typically they put tzatziki sauce on it. I opted to get hummus instead of tzatziki sauce on mine covered it in feta cheese, and the combination of like a hot fry with the melted feta cheese is amazing. I was hooked. I was like, this is amazing. Why have I not been here? And so the owners of Zorba's used to own Great American Steak in the mall. And so a lot of the menu is exactly the same, but I feel like the recipes have improved.
Okay.
Since I don't know if it's because they have a different food distributor, getting the ingredients from or what, but it's only better. Like the reason why I didn't get the tzatziki sauce is because when it was in the mall, it was full of like chunky cucumbers, and I'm not the biggest tzatziki fan with that. So that's why I didn't get it with that. But this one here, because I had got some on the side, doesn't have a lot of the cucumber, so I would have easily. Now, I would recommend getting the fries coated in the Greek dressing and doing the tzatziki on the side and like dipping your fries. Right. Yeah, that would be my recommendation for it. But go check them out.
It gets soggy, right?
Yeah, and they were surprisingly enough. Was it the best restaurant in Louisiana?
Yeah. So who was it? BuzzFeed.
Yeah, BuzzFeed.
A countdown of the top restaurants by Yelpers in every state, and Zorba's was one of them.
That was crazy because they have such amazing. I mean, I haven't heard anyone.
People really like to write about their food.
Right. I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about.
No, I've heard very good things.
The only thing I would complain about is the location isn't the easiest.
Oh, it's god awful.
Yeah. Well, I went on a Saturday. If you go on the weekend, the traffic's not really bad right there on that area because they're at Pinhook and Collie Saloon, like around that intersection.
Yeah.
So it's not
from Pizza Hut.
Right. It's not as bad on the weekends, but
it's nice to get in and out of there.
But they're on Waiter now.
They're on
so
Waiter.
You can order them from
Now
Waiter.
what's your excuse?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Zach McMath. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KBEL.
And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Zach McMath. If I can make it through this show without hawking up a lung, I'm going to be
Please don't.
So happy. I feel like I've gotten the most amazing ab workout of my life. I think tonight I've been pulling everyone on their home cough remedies because I'm out of like the good stuff, cough syrup that I got when I was diagnosed with the flu. And so I've been kind of like pulling everyone on what they like to use for cough syrup at home. And I got a lot of hot toddies. So I think tonight we're going to be trying the whiskey and honey and lemon juice. Yeah. So somebody told me... Yeah. Oh, just whiskey?
Just whiskey. Maybe the elderberry.
Just whiskey. See, somebody told me to just use they were like a tablespoon of whiskey, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a tablespoon of honey. And
local
then
honey. Gotta be local honey.
Yeah, it does. And it does actually help. Like it helps with allergies and yeah. But I mean, that was my grandmother's homemade cough syrup. It was like whiskey, crushed peppermint candies. I tried once.
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Yeah, that's what my mom always says. She's like, just go get a spoonful of sugar, like, because it's supposed to and I'm like, I feel so weird just eating. I'm like, it's not great. But it was basically a hot toddy. Like her homemade cough syrup was basically a hot toddy. Yeah. I tried to make it fancy one time and use
was so happy.
Fresh mint instead of, it has to be the candies.
Yeah.
The candies are so much better than a fresh mint.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have expected, but you got to use the crushed candies.
Just sugar.
Yeah, just all the sugar. Just maybe I'll do that. I'll do the honey.
Right.
Just, drink it out of the bottle. It's fine. All right. So have you been to Dick's Almost Famous Daiquiris before?
Yeah, over on College Saloon.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so one of my coworkers was telling me about their hamburgers, and she was saying that they were really good. And I had one this past week.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
They do a very good job.
It's not. It almost reminded me of a meatloaf, because
Yes.
it was real like
It's got a lot of seasonings
filling,
and flavors and fillings and stuff in there.
and
right.
it's real big and it's like heavy, like you eat it and it's like a real dense hamburger. But I love like that the cheddar cheese was like melted on the top of it, and it's not a fancy hamburger. It's
cool
like a little
place, though.
diner. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to come in and eat here more, and like I posted on it on social media, and everyone's like, oh my god, they're so amazing. And then speaking of French fries, they also do like a loaded French fry with like the hamburger chopped up on it with like ranch dressing and barbecue sauce. And they are open today.
They are open.
You were talking about getting stuff to eat after the show.
We're eating after this.
So they are open. But I would have never suspected that they have a good hamburger.
They've been around for a while. It's actually Gus that owns JSP.
Yes,
him and a couple other guys do a great job. Been big supporters of that.
So the Saints either just did really good or really bad because we could hear people from Planet Radio screaming
down the hallway
because we have the doors open. So I'm wondering what happened. I'll have to look at social media.
Don't change your channel though.
I'll have to look at social media on the break. So I'll have to check that out. Speaking of flu foods, we were talking about soup in the other segment. What do you like to eat when you're sick?
Oh man, the worst things for me. No, it's never.
It's comfort food.
Yeah, it's comfort food. It's Elise's pizza. It's fried. I made fried crawfish the other day. I did fried crawfish and homemade French fries just because I felt terrible.
Yeah. Did it make you feel better?
Oh no, not at all. No, but I knew it wasn't. But I knew why. But no, at least I feel better. So you ask me what I eat when I'm sick. It's usually not. If I'm really trying to make myself feel better, it'll be something like a juice or really going to raw food. As much nutrition as you can get in your body, the easier your body's gonna be able to fight off all those things you have wrong with you and you have sick. So that would be more. Yeah, if it's not comfort food, it's extremely nutritious food just to help your body.
That is so funny because a while back, it's actually maybe 2-3 years since I did the juice cleanse. And I remember after...
You haven't done one since?
No.
Oh, man. We do them like every 3-4 months.
Yeah, no, I haven't done it. I did Whole30 last year, and that was going to kind of be like my cleanse. But I decided just to do keto after the first of the year. And with this flu, like, I was like, yep, nope, I need potatoes. Like, it's out of the window. Yeah. But back when I did the juice cleanse afterwards, when I got sick, that's all I wanted was juice. Like, I was like, I just want juice. Better. Yeah, I was like, I just want to drink like a liquid diet.
That, like, putting nutrients in your body, like,
what?
Would make you feel better.
Shocking.
So novel. The hard part, truthfully, the hard part is the reason that it's so weird to people is that it's hard to consume vegetables. They don't know how to cook vegetables. They don't know how to incorporate those things into their diets. That's why things like doing juice was so easy. You can get 3 pounds of leafy greens in a 12-ounce juice, non-pasteurized. I mean, that's a significant amount of nutrients and vitamins that you're getting without your body having to process it. That's the point.
So back before I got sick and I was doing the keto, I was trying to do high protein veggie smoothies. So I did... Yeah. I was like, instead of buying like protein powder or whatever, I'm just going to do it. So I did spinach, avocado, almond butter, cacao powder. Yeah. And so I did it, and it was like, I was like, ooh, I need some sweetness. Okay. And that it was a little too much. So then I was like debating with myself of what I could put in there to sweeten it that would still be low carb. And in my head, I was like, I just kind of want to put a piece of fruit. Like a piece of fruit, would bring that sweetness out. Yeah. But then it's like you're upping the carb intake for doing low carb keto. So I was like, that doesn't work. Right. So I went and got.
I don't know that much about keto.
The alternative would have been stevia, because you can use stevia.
Not a honey or anything?
No, like you can't use honey either. Like it would have been stevia was my only choice other than like a piece of fruit. And I was having like this ethical dilemma because I have weird feelings about stevia. And I was like, I feel like a piece of fruit would be better than that. But then, it was this big thing. I ended up getting stevia. I haven't tried it yet. But it's interesting, like how you put the different fruits and vegetables in there and the combinations to kind of help with like sweetness. Yes.
Yeah, it's just different types of sugars.
It is. And like how if I was doing I
don't know that much about keto.
Yeah, it's so crazy too with the different terminologies and everything. It's like paleo, whole carb, Whole30, keto, and then they like kind of influx in some places and are very different in other places. Because I was like, well, if I was doing Whole30, I could have a piece of fruit in here. And then I was like,
yeah, it's why I don't typically like diets like
Yeah.
that. I try to listen to what my body does and make it feel better. And so I don't necessarily crave those things
right.
that make me feel bad. It's sort of you kind of train yourself, I suppose, to do that. But it's a little more consistent, right? I'm not constantly working to count things. No, that just doesn't make me feel good. I don't like that. It's much easier than feel like I'm arguing with myself about what I want to eat today.
Right. I mean, I was having like
or I just eat something really terrible, and that's okay because usually I'm pretty good about the choices and what I put in my body.
it's all about balance.
Right? It's about balance, yeah.
It's all about balance. All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Zach. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Zach McMath tonight, and we're going to talk about a new program that you guys are starting called Food Spark.
Right.
To kind of help out anyone out there that is wanting to get into the restaurant business almost.
Restaurant business, catering business, food trucks, small manufacturers, basically LEDA, Lafayette Economic Development, Acadiana Food Hub, Acadiana Food Alliance, the Opportunity Machine, which is a small business incubator, right? All got together, and LEDA helped put together a culinary stipend program. It's a grant. Right? It's money, well, without a loan, right?
Right.
So from $1,000 to $5,000 granted towards a number of different, manufacturers or producers. A new, whereas I guess emerging and mature chefs and emerging and mature wholesale concepts, right? Wholesale products. And really just providing them with startup capital, right? Seed money, if you will, right? This will get them through permitting processes, inspections, things like that. And the reason that it works with that kind of budget is because we have the kitchens available for them to be able to rent. They don't have to go out of pocket and figure out a place where they're going to start manufacturing this product. They have a place they can rent by the hour. And so this gives them the money to maybe afford their initial time in those kitchens, the equipment to be able to scale up their operations so they can get to a few thousand bottles on their first run. It's hard to get into a grocery store when you have never actually made a product in an FDA-registered kitchen. You don't have the right certification for them to even start talking to you. So you need that few $1,000s really to get you over that first barrier, that hurdle, and then allows you to grow into a co-packer or your own facility. In some cases, it may be starting with a virtual restaurant that gets you into your food truck finally. But getting your loan for $30,000 for a food truck is contingent upon you being successful in your food sales. And so far, you have no food sales because most times it's not legitimate food sales. Outside of something like a farmer's market, you got to be able to show something to a bank that says you're worthy of this loan and I can take the risk on you. And so giving people just simply credibility, knowledge to either know whether they want to go forward with this or not is extremely helpful and would otherwise cost them upwards of $200,000 and possibly a 3 to 5 year lease in a restaurant in some neighborhood that may be on the decline or incline. You know, it's a huge risk, and it's why 70% of restaurants fail. It's why we're seeing you're seeing restaurants fail for a number of different reasons. But you see restaurants fail because they weren't able to quite work out all those kinks before they launched. You know, maybe they printed a menu and then realized half the things on the menu didn't sell, so they got to print a new menu, $1,000, right? In this case, you're not having to print those menus yet. You're limiting the risk that you need to take to initially start up. And so Food Spark is there to help fund that startup. And so really there's an application process that exists. You go to acadianafoodhub.com/foodspark, or you can find it on the page. You can find it at Acadiana Food Hub, Facebook, Instagrams, all that. But it's an application process. You submit sort of a business plan or something like that, which you come up with. And those are all due by February 28th. We'll select a few There's a panel that will select a few winners, right? Those will be selected after that February 28th. You'll be funded, and then there's a final report due in the following December, right? So this will help fund you basically for, in some cases, a shift per week, okay, for 3 to 4 months, right? Which is pretty significant, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, I have people that work in my kitchens that only come in once a month, right? So and they're running their business full time, right? But they're making their product once a month, and then they're selling their product the rest of the month, right? That's what they should be doing. So yeah, it's to help fund sort of those aspects of that small business startup in a way that helps limit the risk and gives access to everybody.
And the monetary award is $1,000 to $5,000. Do you know what
typically that's sort of what we've looked at.
Deciding factors are going to be? Like if it's the more money.
Well, I would tell you that this was modeled off of a currently existing program with LEDA called Art Spark, which was a culinary stipend for artists. It would give them like paints and supplies and the ability and maybe studio space to produce a piece of art, right? And so it was based sort of on that, and the idea that $1,000 or $5,000 could do that. Now, what would dictate whether you get $1,000 or $5,000? What do you need? You're gonna dictate whether you are asking us for that amount of money.
More or the less.
Right. You may say, look, I'm just $1,000 away from actually getting my stuff done. I just got this one little hurdle. Just if I can get this one machine for $2,000, I could ramp up my operation to, from 100 to 1,000, per hour. Just with this one little investment, how would that be able to help? And how would that help everyone that now had access to that piece of equipment? It's those kinds of things. And so that will really dictate what's given and how much, and it will be the ask, and then whether that ask is feasible within the parameters of the program and fits, well, within probably a whole bunch of considerations we'll have to make. But this is the first year, so it's just one of those things that bridge will cover when we get there.
Now, the people applying for this, does it have to be completely new concepts, or can it be things that are kind of already existing?
No,
and they're kind of like, yeah, I need some help.
I need some help, right? This is, now we'll vet, right? And to some degree, I certainly don't intend on wasting people's time. Need it. Mm-hmm. The idea is to help. If you don't need it, don't obviously ask for money. But there's a portion of it that will be awarded to mature concepps, right? It's with an effort to increase what's sort of sourced locally and used locally. There's a big kind of balance that weighs in there. How is your company sort of community related and things? We want to encourage giving back and it's becoming part of our culinary culture, not just giving somebody $1,000 to go and build a company, but actually really build an economy that leads to more manufacturing locally. We export 90% of our rice. Why aren't we doing something with that rice? Why hasn't somebody created a sake company in Louisiana?
That is so funny that you mentioned sake right now, because I know a while back there was a lady in New Orleans that was doing something with sake, and I don't know if she still is or not.
It might be some small batching or something like that, but just only recently we're doing like a Bayou rum and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure our rice farmers would love to be able to sell locally and have it would be neat if a rice farmer actually invested in a sake manufacturing facility next to his farm. But creating value adds here keeps more of that money here. That's sort of the point. We're not that heavily invested in our local food manufacturing infrastructure, and it's an opportunity to invest in sort of a diversification of our economy. Right, diversify our economy into food. It's sort of natural. We're already known for our food. Let's help create it and get it out there. Right, that's all we're really trying to do is give people the revenue and the assets to be able to do that. Test those things out.
When I had first saw the amounts that you guys were giving, I had spoken to you privately, and I was like, I feel like that's not a lot of money. And in my head, when I was thinking of it, I was thinking that's not a lot of money for someone that's like, I want to start a restaurant and going out and getting the loans and everything together in order to start that. What's nice about going through you guys is that you guys are kind of taking some of that cost away from them, and it isn't as expensive. Like we kind of did like a cost by cost. It's much cheaper to go through you guys
for that initial incubation.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
to start an initial cost.
These are people that can't go to the bank and get a loan,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are people that aren't quite there yet and need just a little bit of incubation space and time to be able to grow that in, and they need that time. I would tell you that in the last probably year or so, we've sat down with over 100 companies that are trying to form. Okay, these are food trucks. These are different manufacturers. These are catering operations, different USDA things. And all of these people have come in, and they've sort of, I would say the overwhelming majority are sort of getting bogged down on that very first just $1,000, right? Okay, I just need to save up that. Just need to get that little bit, and that's tough, especially in the economy now, with the time and everything now. I mean, people are most successful ones are people that have had to leave their jobs and do this full time, and not everybody can do that.
Right.
We want to create a space that people can turn their hobby into an actual revenue generator for them with the same amount of time. But what we found overwhelmingly between those people was that there was just really that small gap that existed. That okay, if we can fill that now what's there? What's the issue now? And that's what we want to see people take advantage of is come and use this to be able to grow your company. No, this isn't going to fund you getting a restaurant, but are you there yet?
Right.
If you're there yet, then maybe you don't need this program right now. But there's people that aren't quite there yet. And if you are there yet and the bank is still saying, well, you need this, let's talk about what that is. Okay, let's see if maybe some incubation of your concept. If you going and setting up at a farmer's market, and that's what this becomes, you go and work with the Opportunity Machine and you end up working farmers markets to get your brand out there, and then you grow that takes maybe a few $1,000s to be able to do that, to afford booth rental, things like that. So it just really, it's doable. I got to be honest with you, it's doable. We've seen it. That's where we see that gap is. We want to give people access to that. Again, it's not going to buy you a $30,000 truck.
Right.
Are you there yet? Right. A lot of trucks that we talk to, they start off before they even run their truck at all. Before they've Wingfingers. Wingfingers had 300 Instagram followers before they ever sold chicken off their truck. Okay, how did they do that? Okay, that's a very, very difficult thing to do. That took their initial investment. That took, I think one of the guys had to sell their car or something.
Yeah, I think they sold the car. They also got a credit card loan.
Right.
And maxed it out.
Yeah, so maybe it keeps people from getting into overwhelming debt whenever they enter in. It limits that risk in a way that helps these people focus on what they need to be focused on, and that's the reinvestment into their own company. This allows them to reinvest in their own company. So yeah, that's where we see it really being a benefit, and being able to help in that way. And again, by doing this, it gives you access to these kitchens that don't require that initial 5-year lease and a $300,000 investment in your own restaurant before you ever serve anybody. Let's test it out. Let's get it out there on things like waiter. Let's get you some catering jobs. We're even looking at having a rentable food truck that you'll be able to rent. So you want a food truck? Okay, well, let's put some equipment in there you might need. Let's let you run that for a few months, and let's see how successful that is. Maybe it'll help you design a better food truck design whenever you do go into doing that. But, I mean, those are all kind of steps in that process that people miss in between. I want to open a restaurant, and I'm going to the bank with a loan. Where's that incubation space? This is where it is, and this is how we help fund it for people.
Have you guys gotten a lot of applications so far?
We've gotten,
it was just announced last week. So
right, just announced last week. Some more of what I'm getting is questions on how that application can be filled out, what certain requirements are. So in some of it, we ask for a business plan. That's daunting, and that also is relative, what you would consider a business plan sometimes. So the best of their ability, right? What do you have? What can you send? What are those reports looking like? What do you have to base this off of? The stronger your business plan is, the more easier it is for us to select you.
Right.
It helps us to know that you've thought this through. You're not just coming and saying, hey, I got this. Do you think it'll sell? I've been taste testing this for a few months, and I need the packaging, and I need the machine to be able to cook it and prep it and to allow me to do that. Yeah.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Zach. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Has to offer. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Zach McMath with Acadiana Food Hub, Commissary Kitchen, and Food Incubator. I got it all. Woo! I feel like I need like a general name that like encompasses all three of the things that you guys do.
If they could all be together, I would be much happier. Unfortunately, due to regulations,
you can't.
Everything has to be separate.
Yeah,
it's the world that we live in with food, health, and regulations. We try to be compliant, so we've had to separate everything. Yeah.
So you guys are going to be hosting a class coming up with LA Ag?
Yeah, so LSU Ag and their incubator is putting on a class in Lafayette. This actually just came out a couple of days ago, so we don't have a date yet. But you can always stay tuned. It's basically to help people understand what it takes to get into the food business, work through a lot of those regulatory issues, and let them know what they're getting into. It's additional help to what we try to help people do here. But they're putting on a class that what they would usually do for their incubator tenants in Baton Rouge. So stay tuned for that. I think that will be helpful for everybody to kind of know what it will take to get products onto store shelves. Right? You say you have a barbecue sauce or a seasoning, or I think of all kinds of things. We had a rice pudding, and I don't know. People got some crazy recipes. We definitely live in a culinary culture, so it's a matter of giving them a place to be able to make those things. A small batch. Yeah.
And numerous people have said that the downtown area needed a grocery store.
Yeah.
And one is coming. Cajun Crate is going to be opening a storefront there. Yeah. And you guys have some plans on helping them.
Yeah. So Tara Guidry started Cajun Crate, and they do a subscription box of locally made items. So even tenants that use our incubator kitchen get to go into these boxes. It helps to kind of market their things. And she opened up a little grocery store downtown that will be able to host these products. So, I mean, downtown's needed or been asking for a grocery store for a while. And so it's a way to get sort of those products featured in the downtown area and exposure for those new products and new brands. She's still doing her e-commerce and things like that for those companies. Her subscription box, and they're going to be sourcing local produce from our Acadiana Food Hub market. So you'll get some local farmers into your downtown grocery store, which is no small feat. It's not easy to get farmers into our markets these days.
Yeah.
We've had to try and, that's why we're here, is to try and grow our access to local farmers. So we're happy that Cajun Crate is creating a space that allows people to do that, and allows access for people, especially in the downtown area. We want downtown to do well.
What are some other companies that you guys are working with right now?
Let's see. There's
you said Cochon Cannery was
Cochon Cannery that's Dusty Latulet. He does the bacon jam. They do bacon salts and bacon. It's bacon caramel. It's bacon caramel on top of a chocolate chip cookie. Oh, okay, just like a little. It's incredible. It's the best thing ever.
Love that caramel in my coffee. Like I like to get a scoop of it and like stir it in my coffee. It doesn't even need creamer. Yeah, just like caramel.
His caramel is good. His bacon jam is ridiculous. It's so good. But he's going to start using. He's actually going to be our first USDA inspected producer.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of a big deal. And for the first year of our production, we had barriers working with USDA, and we think we've ironed those out. And Dusty's going to be one of those first kind of small batch USDA producers, which is really exciting because that's going to allow small crackling companies to start actually producing. I was going around buying crackling the other day, and everything was from Lima, Ohio.
What?
Yeah, all crackling. It's crazy. The things that even like look Cajun, you turn it over, like all comes from the same place, and it's just because there's only so many places in the world and that do large batch manufacturing that once you distribute this thing everywhere, it does become a little more expensive. And so, as long as we're producing things locally and keeping these products locally, and we can make those things affordable. Cochon Cannery is going to come and make stuff. They've got Basin Blend is doing his dry seasoning. So we've actually...
I love his seasoning blend. Last time I saw him, he gave me the new version, the Cajun version. Yeah. I absolutely love it. Yep.
And no salt.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that I do add salt. But he said that's okay because you're deciding. You're deciding how much salt you want to put in there. Exactly. And I don't put a lot of salt anyway, but I do add salt. But it's so good. It's really good.
He's coming in. We actually just got a new machine for him that allowed him to go from like 30 seconds a bottle to 6 seconds a bottle.
Wow.
And that's sort of the point, is to give people access to equipment to make their job faster.
Right.
So he's in there. There's another guy, Charlie, in the peanut butter factory. Have you seen that?
I have not.
You see him at the farmer's market.
Wait, I think so. Okay, I have seen their booth at the farmer's market.
You see him there, and he's in a couple other places like sort of like Smoothie King type of places. Probably not Smoothie King, sorry. But places like that where you can go and just like kind of buy these little bites, and so they're at the checkout counter and get a little protein bite, and they're delicious. He's got a whole bunch of different flavors, and they're really cool. So probably there's 5 new food trucks in Lafayette in the last 5 months.
I was talking about how I feel like they're making a return.
In at least as far as I'm concerned, there's space for them now. There's actually a place for them to be able to operate their food trucks. That's a big hurdle. And that's why we've seen that our food trucks that are using us, they didn't have another kitchen to be able to use. That was a problem. Those would not be in business otherwise. I would have to go find somewhere else. But there's definitely more, and we'd obviously like to see more. Again, that helps benefit those small companies and gives them a place to grow and make some money without that huge investment that would otherwise be necessary.
Cousin Smokehouse is another one that's going to be using.
Cousin Smokehouse is awesome. It's a pork jerky. And they produce their stuff, and they've got to store it somewhere. So they actually store it in our warehouse to do their e-commerce fulfillment, and they do some of their own fulfillment as well. And those guys are great, local guys, and they're hustling it. I think they just put in their new order. They're producing a lot of jerky, moving a lot of jerky. They've been very, very successful, I'd say, so far.
It's delicious. They came on the show and they
really
brought
good.
some, and it's really good.
Yeah, I would get it instead of beef jerky any day.
Yeah.
And anybody's. There's not a beef jerky out there that I would say.
It's not dry and chewy and leathery.
It's the closest thing to tasso you can have and still be jerky.
That is such a good and accurate representation of what it is like.
Yep.
Nail on the head.
I love tasso.
Yeah, me too. That is so accurate. Good. That's fabulous. Okay. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, those guys are good, though. That's a list product. Actually, we put those products in vending machines. So you can find those in vending machines and micro markets around Southwest Louisiana now.
All right. So really quick, let's recap where people can go for Food Spark to apply, and then where they can get more information on what you guys do.
Yep. Go to acadianafoodhub.com/foodspark. You can find the application, the guidelines, questionnaire there, and send us a question. Help you out. We'd love to see some more applicants.
I'm going to put you right on the spot really quickly. Yep. Has there been anywhere locally around town that you've had a really good meal lately that you kind of want to talk about in the 3 minutes that we have left?
Oh, help me out.
Totally put you on the spot.
I have no...
Man, I don't know what's happening in football land, but it must be something serious because they are like going off.
I don't know. Social is probably one of my favorites most recently. But no, nothing really jumps
You guys
out
have
at
been
me.
like eye on the prize, like working.
Yeah, my head hasn't come up very high.
Not a lot of. I will give you guys this tip that I learned today, that I put into practice today. If you have a bottle of wine like left over and it's gone bad, like you can't drink it, cook with it. I put a venison roast in the slow cooker today and put that half bottle of wine, and it is smelling something good and taste so good. I can't wait to go and eat that after the show. I've been trying to cook more like with beer and wine and and that's another good thing too. Like if you get beer, if you want to try different beers and you get some and you don't like it, you can still cook with it. Like, it all cooks out and you'll get the flavor left after it. It's delicious. Thank you so much for coming on again tonight, Zach. All right, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.